I'm the only one that's still left from the glory days, and I'm still here on the front line with the Albany Patroons.
Hi there, it's WAMC News Director Ian Pickus. And on this episode of the WAMC News Podcast, we speak with Mr. Patroon, Derrick Rowland. Mr. Patroon is coming back to Albany. After Will Brown stepped down as head coach last month, the Albany Patroons say Derrick Rowland is returning as head coach for the 2023 season that begins in March. He's played for and coached the Albany Patroons dating back to their 1982 inception.
The official thirst quencher of the CBA. Welcome to the CBA Championship Series on ESPN. This is the Washington Avenue Armory. We're in Albany, New York. The best of 7 series gets underway between the Albany Patroons and the Wyoming Wildcatters.
A star player who led the club to 2 titles, Rowland will begin his 3rd stint as head coach for the team that plays in the basketball league. He spent last season coaching in Oklahoma. Brown, the former longtime UAlbany men's basketball coach, stepped aside after bringing the Patroons to the championship series last year. He wants to focus on college basketball. And Derrick Rowland joins me now. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So how did you make the decision to come back to Albany at this point?
Well, it's just kind of divine intervention going on here. You know, I was in Oklahoma last year, and I found out that Oklahoma really wasn't for me. You know, I was so far away from my family. You know, my mom was getting up there in the age, and I just didn't feel it was right for me to be there all year round. So I decided to come back home. On coming back home, I wasn't aware that the Patroon job would be open. You know, what I was planning on doing was helping the organization with their public relations and school kids and sponsorships and stuff of that nature. That was my original plan once I returned here. And then the head coach job opened up, which was great. You know, Will Brown did a great job here, and I'm just happy to be back in the saddle here with the Patroons.
When you become the head coach, especially in this league, there are so many more responsibilities. How are you getting ready for the new season?
Well, I've been doing this for a while. You know, it's pretty much a turnkey situation for me. You know, as far as putting the players together and just preparing all the other stuff, the travel to players and all that. We're moving along very well. You know, I have a pretty good black book of players that have played for me in the past, that I have played against, and some of the Albany former players. So we're off to a good start as far as that. This is a new start for me, but it's not new as far as all the other stuff that comes with it.
Have you locked any players in for the new roster for the upcoming season so far?
Yes, I have. And, you know, and probably got another 150 on the waiting list.
Wow.
You know, playing for the Patroons it's an honor for players, you know, because of the history and the organization and the arena and the fans and all the stuff that takes place here. A lot of players know that it's a great place for them. You know, and with me and my players, I promote guys trying to move up to the next level. And when you move up to the next level, money-wise, that's best for them and their families. So, you know, I try to motivate players to come here and put their best foot forward. And if they get an opportunity to go overseas or to the NBA, I'm the first one to congratulate them and take them to the airport. So we got a pretty good thing going here.
I remember talking to Coach Brown last season, and he was constantly going to and from the airport, making phone calls, keeping weird hours to see, you know, where his players were, coming back and forth from Europe. I mean, that in itself sounds like a full-time commitment even before you're looking at any games.
It is, and it's definitely commitments because, you know, you want to try to find the right players and the right chemistry and the character guys and the guys that you know will fit what you need to do. You know, one of the biggest things for me is I'm looking for obviously talent, but the players need to be able to go out into the community and work with the kids, you know, at camp, clinics, and hospitals, and anything that we can do to help our community. You know, that's one of the big things that the Albany Patroons has always put a lot of weight in. It's service in the community. So part of my recruiting is talent, also guys that has the ability to go out and motivate the kids.
So as a coach, do you talk about the success you had here as a player, or does that kind of thing not resonate with, you know, young players today?
I definitely talk about the success and the culture that has been built here. I tell the players, when you play for the Albany Patroons, every time you take the court, you have a chance to play for history. We are a historical franchise, probably the most historical minor league franchise of all time, as far as the number of players to the NBA and the coaches, the Phil Jacksons, the Rick Carlisles, the Scotty Brooks, the Michael Ray Richardsons, and the list goes on. So we have a chance to play for history. Everything is documented. The game has changed to some degree. You got 7-footers shooting 3-pointers these days, but the culture and the method of approach is the same for me. I share that all the time. I go out and get all the old pictures and all the old write-ups and just show them, what has happened here as a tool to motivate them and let them know what kind of opportunity they really have.
When you were a player, what kind of coaching did you respond to?
Any kind of coaching. I was just a desperate player. I was a player. I went to a Division III school, and I was the only one probably on the team or in the league from a Division III school at the time. And I was just there. I had a very high basketball IQ. My work ethic was there. It took me some time to develop. I was a practice player when I first started out with the Patroons, just being the practice guy because, I wasn't ready to make the roster. I went to school at Potsdam State, all these other guys, Syracuse, North Carolina, Duke, all these other major colleges. So it took me a little time to catch up to the style of play, and then I did, and then, the rest is history.
Let me go back to something you said a moment ago about 7-footers shooting 3-pointers. Has the three infiltrated the basketball league the way it's really changed the NBA?
Yes. Yeah, basketball has changed a lot.
What do you think of that change? Is that something you think has made the game more exciting?
I think so. I think, at one point it was the crossover dribble that was big, and then it was the dunk, and now the 3-point shot is the highlight of is the thing that all players would like to do, the 3-point shot.
And you have to have somebody who can make them. Otherwise the kick out doesn't work.
Yes. Well, if we don't make them, we don't take them. You know what I mean? And, for me in this league, the 3-point shot is a great shot, but there's formulas to win. Like, for example, on the road, I think that we take less 3-point shots on the road. We play downhill. We try to get to the foul line. We try to get them in foul trouble, and we try to get high percentage shots on the road. Obviously, the 3-point shot is a part of that. But at home, you're comfortable. The fans are going. The 3-point shot is a lot easier to make. But there has to be two aspects of your team, inside and out, to be successful.
Lastly, do you feel any pressure to be successful this year? I know, you have your own long personal history with the franchise, but also they're coming off barely missing a championship last year in overtime. Mm-hmm. So how important is winning to you?
Winning is extremely important, but honestly, I don't coach, to see how many games I can win. The kids, the players, I'm in a position of power. People listen to me. I have great experience, and I walk the walk. I'm the only one that's still left from the glory days, and I'm still here on the front line with the Albany Patroons. So coaching is obviously, I'm a winner, and I put pressure on myself. But at the end of the day, it's about what you can do for others that can determine how far you can go in your life.
Well, best of luck for the upcoming season. Derrick Rowland is back as head coach of the Albany Patroons, who start their season in the basketball league in March. Coach, Mr. Patroon, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you.
All right, that does it for this episode of the WAMC News Podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, I'm Ian Pickus.